So Natalie White is the founder and CEO of Moolah Kicks. I'll just start with that. But I have to say, when I was running the other day, I heard on my, I was about to say iPod, on my telephone, money, 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 money. And I said, that reminds me of Natalie White. She is the money. She is an entrepreneur, and I am an entrepreneur as well. And I've come across a lot of people with ideas. And it takes a unique individual to take those ideas and bring them to market. So tell me, you had this great idea to change and innovate the women's basketball market, starting with the shoe, because I know your vision is huge, but you're starting with the shoe. So take us through your story of how you came up with the idea. When did that light bulb go off for you?
I started Moolah Kicks when I was a senior in college, but the story of my love for women's basketball and the game, like so many speakers here, started way before then. I grew up, played basketball my entire life. I'm from New York, so I was used to playing more of the streetball game than the organized basketball, I'll be the first to admit. But I grew up playing AAU, playing any chance I could get, played on some of the top teams growing up with girls who, I was alley-ooping and they were dunking on 9.5-foot rims, and there was nothing like it. And all throughout growing up, though, I do remember looking across, right, and seeing what we got, the times that our practices were, and the coaches we got, and the resources that the girls' teams got, and looking across the court and seeing, oh, here's what the boys are getting. And when you're at that age and you walk into an AAU tournament and you see that the tickets in 5th grade to a girls' basketball game are cheaper for a 5th grade girls' basketball team than a boys' 5th grade team. And you just wonder why. You say to yourself, why is this? So I continued throughout my basketball career. I went to Boston College right here down the street where I studied finance. And there I was a manager of the varsity team, and I played club. And I'm glad I'm sitting for this talk, because if I stood up, you guys would see why. But I played club, I managed the varsity team, and I was so involved at every single home game there at Conti at BC. And during my senior year, I remember seeing an advertisement that had 4 of the top WNBA players, their profiles, holding up sneakers that weren't only men's, but named after male players, right? So it said the WNBA player's name, then below it would say, insert NBA player's name here, 6, 13, whatever ridiculous number of their sneaker that was. And I said, we have to change this. It is the lack of women's basketball sneakers has not only a negative social implication, but it also has a serious negative performance implication that is not talked about enough, right? Not only are we saying you could be the top WNBA player and still not have your own sneaker, but when female hoopers wear sneakers that are made for the male foot form, it actually puts us at a greater risk of knee, ankle, and leg injury. So I started Moolah Kicks to be the brand in women's hoops, where everything we do is centered around performing with purpose, elevating these players' games, and being a brand that is not apologetic, it's not a charity, it is a for-profit business where our only goal is to create products that represent the women's hoops community, fit our feet, elevate these young players' game, and in turn continue to put more capital back into women's basketball.
So when you described, holding up those shoes and they were named after men and they were the size of men, that's erasing women, right? So I know there's a significance to the box. Can you tell us what the significance is.
Absolutely. The box itself, I think, not only has meaning, but also shows something that I'm most proud of, which is how far this business has evolved in the past just 2 years. So this box really represents why I started the brand, just 2 years ago, where you see that difference in treatment here on the outside of the box, where this is a real statistic and data that shows the number of attendance at men's NCAA games in blue versus women's NCAA games in yellow. And then on the inside of the box, you have, of course, a little message from me, but you have all yellow, and if you guys can see, a packed crowd on the interior of the box here, which shows where we are and where we're headed. This on the outside is the history, and on the inside, it's where we are and how much we've grown. And when I say we've evolved, I mean sorry about that.
That's all right.
When I say the brand has evolved, I mean to start, our original mission was to fight for gender equality and make sneakers fit for female ballers. But what I'm most excited about is how far we have come from that. Because our biggest critique is when people look at women's basketball and they say, oh, she's good because she shoots like Curry. Oh my gosh, she is terrific because she can dunk. She's not good because her handles don't look like XYZ NBA player. And when we lead as the only women's basketball brand and we start by saying we're fighting for gender equality, automatically what it's saying is that same thing in comparing us to the men. And that is exactly what we're not doing, because what Moolah Kicks is about isn't looking across the court like I used to when I was little. It's about leaning into the talent, the hype, the viewers, and the packed crowd that are already there. They are here in women's hoops already. And so this brand is all about leaning into that positive culture and that movement and continuing to be that brand that represents them and focuses on the good.
You are reimagining the entire industry. I love it. Woo! And most innovators, people who disrupt, don't have fears. And you told me when I asked you the question, what were your fears? You said, no, you can't ask that question because I don't have any fears.
I said, cross it out.
So tell us why and how.
I feel like throughout this entire process of building the business, people always ask me, what are you afraid of? What challenges have you faced? And I think if you're afraid of problems, then this isn't the business for you, because every day somebody is calling you with something that went wrong, right? We look at supply chain, we look at all of the issues that have really arisen and the high barriers to entry that are going into not just footwear, but performance footwear, going into an industry with a completely new approach. There's a million reasons why it's challenging or you could be scared, but there's also more reasons and more ways to do the dance and maneuver and make it work. And so I would say the reason that I don't feel like I have many fears or too many challenges is because I think if I saw things that way, I don't know if I could do it. I see everything just as, okay, that way didn't work, whatever, we're over it, we're trying something else. And I don't ever let something scare me or get to me, because if it doesn't work, it just means we can find another way.
That's the power of purpose, right? Right there. You overcome all of those obstacles in your way because there's a bigger picture.
Exactly.
So let's take us to another 10 years, 20 years. Where do you see Moolah?
Really, we're playing a long game here, and we want to positively impact the culture of women's hoops, how far you can go. Say, the sky's the limit from a business perspective on the court, coaching, and really start to be that brand that people see as synonymous with women's basketball.
And one question I did forget to ask before we finish is, you've done a lot for supporting women and the name, image, and likeness. Can you share a little bit about that strategy of not only making products for these athletes, but then also raising their voices.
Yeah. I mean, our name, image, and likeness approach completely mirrors what we are about, which is purpose and performance. And with our NIL kids, this has been such a huge opportunity for us this year with NIL passing and these players able to take their own self and turn it into a business, take their platforms and build up their business and amplify their image. And as the basketball brand, we help them align with who they are as a player first. So with our Division I kids, they're able to promote all of our purpose, our sneaker off the court, and then our Division III kids are able to wear the sneaker on the court and showcase that performance.
Wow. Well, I want to say thank you very much for
Thank you, Mary.
making the trip here. I know you don't sleep.
Guys, you'd be happy the lights are on me. You can't tell, hopefully.
There is promise today and into the future because there are women like Natalie White pushing us forward and doing amazing things. So let's give a round of applause to Natalie.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.